Why most millionaires love these simple investments. Want to build wealth without watching the markets every day? Want to retire rich without gambling on risky stocks? Most people try to beat the market. Few actually do. But what if you could match the market and let it make you rich slowly, safely, and smartly? This is the power of index funds and ETFs, the most underrated wealth-building tools of our generation. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel for clear, trustworthy investing strategies that actually work. Index funds and ETFs, the ultimate guide to passive investing. What is passive investing? Unlike day trading or stock picking, passive investing means buying broad market exposure and holding it for the long term. It's not sexy, but it works. Topics: Definition of passive versus active investing. The logic behind buy and hold. Historical returns of passive investors. Time in the market versus timing the market. What is an index fund? An index fund tracks the performance of a specific market index, like the S&P 500 or total stock market. You own a piece of everything. Topics: How index funds work. Common indexes: S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, Russell 2000, MSCI World Expense Ratios, and low fees. Why Warren Buffett recommends them? What is an ETF? ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, are like index funds, but trade like stocks. They combine diversification with flexibility. Topics: How ETFs are structured. Key differences between ETFs and index mutual funds. Liquidity, pricing, tax efficiency, growth of the ETF market in the last 2 decades. Types of index funds and ETFs. Not all index funds are created equal. Some follow the whole market, others target small companies or specific countries. Breakdown: Total market index funds, S&P 500 funds. Bond index funds, sector ETFs, tech, health, energy. Thematic ETFs, ESG, robotics, AI. International and emerging market ETFs. Why fees matter. The power of low expense ratios. A 1% fee sounds tiny, but over 30 years, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Topics: Comparing fees between active mutual funds versus index funds. Vanguard's role in democratizing low-cost investing. Real-world compounding examples. Subscribe now to avoid hidden investing traps and keep more of your money. Dollar cost averaging and automation. Investing isn't about timing the perfect entry. It's about consistently adding every paycheck, every month, through thick and thin. Topics: What is dollar cost averaging, DCA? How to automate your investing with brokerage tools. Behavior advantages of passive automation. Tax advantages of index funds and ETFs. Uncle Sam wants his cut, but index funds and ETFs can help you legally minimize it. Topics: Tax efficiency of ETFs. Capital gains versus dividends. Tax loss harvesting strategies. Using tax-advantaged accounts. IRA, 401k, Roth IRA, common investor, mistakes with index funds and ETFs. Even passive investors mess up. Let's make sure you're not one of them. Pitfalls: Chasing returns and abandoning the plan. Over-diversifying with too many overlapping ETFs. Ignoring asset allocation. Neglecting rebalancing. How to build a simple, strong portfolio. You don't need 1,000 holdings. Just a few smart choices can cover the globe. Examples: the 3-fund portfolio, total U.S., international, bonds. Target date index funds, lazy portfolios, Bogleheads, Rick Ferry. Sample allocations for different risk levels. Subscribe for future breakdowns of these models and updates on best ETFs. Where to buy index funds and ETFs. You don't need a Wall Street advisor. All you need is a smartphone and a brokerage account. Guide: Best online brokerages: Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, M1, Robinhood. How to buy an ETF step by step, what to watch out for. Bid-ask spread, NAV, liquidity recessions, crashes, and the long-term view. Markets crash. That's normal. The key to winning is staying invested when others panic. Topics: historical crashes and recoveries. Why bear markets are buying opportunities, emotional discipline, and long-term perspective. Why time in the market beats timing the market. The future of index investing. As more people go passive, the landscape evolves. Will active investing die? Will ETFs get too big? Discussion. Rise of direct indexing, smart beta, and factor investing. Regulatory shifts and risks. The next generation of ETFs, crypto, AI-driven funds, etc. Myths and misunderstandings about index funds. Think index funds are boring, low return, or unsafe. Think again. Debunking. Index funds don't beat the market. Myth. You have no control. Myth. Only good in bull markets. Myth. Index funds for financial independence and early retirement. FIRE. The FIRE movement lives and breathes index investing, and with good reason. Topics: how index funds enable early retirement, case studies of FIRE advocates. 4% rule and withdrawal strategies. Why simplicity equals freedom. Hit subscribe to follow our FIRE series and real-world retire early case studies. Final thoughts: why this strategy works for most people. You can't control the market, but you can control your behavior, your fees, your time horizon. That's where wealth is built. Closing thoughts. Index funds and ETFs equals time-tested tools. You don't need to be an expert. Just start. Stay consistent. Let compound interest work. Subscribe now to build long-term wealth without stress, hype, or guesswork. Index funds and ETFs. Simple, powerful, proven.